Hi there. Welcome to Northern Light Care, or used to be Northern Light Care, sorry, Johnsburg Chiropractic. Now I changed my name last spring and I had a revert. So I'm doing the detox right now, the detox diet, that's what we're talking about. So I usually talk about this twice a year, and the last several years I've been doing the standard process one. And I decided to do a different product line this year. So I'm doing Orthomolecular's detox program. And so if you've seen my videos before, this one's going to be a little bit different and a little bit different slides and a little bit different information. So hopefully this is fresh. Same concept, just a little bit different way they approach it. So let's get on with that. So, you know, I'm glad that you're watching, and this is a really good topic to do. Now, each year, the average person is exposed to 14 pounds of pesticides, herbicides, food additives, and preservatives. It is important to try to just kind of cleanse that out. Our liver, and we'll talk about this in this talk, but our liver is the guy who's responsible for getting rid of anything that's non-food, non-usable, and process it to get it out of our body. And so it's good to kind of scrub that liver, get it, clean it up so it can work more efficiently. So it's good to do that. So the pillars of good digestive health, or GI health, is, you know, making sure we digest properly, we eliminate properly, and doing a history with patients. You know, I'm surprising how many people don't eliminate or have a bowel movement at least once a day. I've had people think that it's normal to have one once a week, and that is not normal. That is not good. You want to get those toxins out. You know, making sure you have a good microbiome, that good bacteria in your gut lining that's, you know, symbiotic with us. It helps us produces some of our vitamins. We need to make sure we feed those bacteria that are good for us, those good bacteria, and then, you know, making sure that actually our gut lining is strong and healthy, and feeding our body the nutrients to help with that. So, you know, what are toxins? So toxins are substances that are harmful or have harmful effects to our body. So anything we either put on our skin, anything we breathe in, anything that we ingest that is harmful to our body, that has adverse reactions to our body. Unfortunately, sometimes those are medications that are prescribed that do benefit for manipulating the body to lower your blood pressure or do certain things to help for you to live, but unfortunately some of those byproducts of those medications cause some harmful things to our body. That's why we have side effects sometimes. So that, you know, our GI tract is responsible for dealing with all that, and we accumulate a toxin burden. Like, our body will accumulate these toxins over time, and we want to make sure that we help get those out of our body. So most toxins are fat soluble, or lipotrophic, we call that. So we want to make sure we're putting really healthy fats also into our body when we eat, and trying to get those out. So sources of toxins, we talked about, like air, what we breathe in, you know, inside pollutants, and we'll talk a little bit more about the different pollutants there. We have the pesticides, we have also radiation that we don't think about. That's why they, you know, talk about doing radon testing and other testing in your home to talk about purification in your house. I try to have air purifiers in my home to make sure that the air is getting cleaned all the time, because you never know what's coming in. You have also your household cleaners, and they say we have so many chemicals underneath our kitchen sink, it's ridiculous these days. So, you know, we all have these chemicals, unfortunately, surrounding us. So the US EPA did a study of chemicals stored in just the human fat, and they show about 100, all people have some form of these dioxins, and then you have the PCBs and all these other leans. I don't like just this medical jargon or professional talk, you know, what do they call it? Just these words that they create for all these different toxins. So we have really known the University of Columbia University School of Public Health said that 95% of cancer is caused by this like toxins that we find in our diet and in our environment. So let's see. But we have another thing talking about these, that I have a slide here talking about that it's been known to also been found to be in umbilical blood. So I think we have on a slide in the future here that about over 140 toxins have been found in just the umbilical cord. So after a baby is born, they were checking this blood, and that study was done I think almost a decade ago. So we're probably more toxic now than we were then. And here's some other toxins that we know about, most people think about. They know alcohol is not good for your liver. We know that, it causes fatty liver if we use it too much. But nicotine is not good. But some people don't think about their cosmetics. So some cosmetics, especially higher end cosmetics, actually put some hormones into their products to make you feel better and your skin better, but that can accumulate over time and cause harmful effects on the body. So skincare, caffeine's not good. I already talked about prescription drugs, also over-the-counter drugs. We also have toxins in our water. I have a well at home, and I was just at the well drilling place, and they talk about you should have your well cleaned and chlorinated because bacteria can grow over time, and where your source of your water is. Now I do drink filtered water at home, but I still cook with this water. There's other things, but not just that. When they go to chlorine in it, well, chlorine's not the greatest thing for us either. So it's like, okay, we need to kill the bacteria, but then you have a chemical. So there's all these things in our waters. The sewer plants, if you don't have well water, they are only making sure to take out bacteria. They do not, people who flush their prescription drugs down the toilet, they're not cleaning those out of the system. So there's been studies showing just tap water having trace elements of certain medications, because that sewer processing plant that processes your water and the water processing plant doesn't always process those out, those chemicals. We have runoff of pesticides into the water as well, and just all these mercury, heavy metals also have been shown to be in water. Now, some communities do a testing periodically, and you should get that in the mail. Make sure to look at those tests and what they come up with. It's kind of amazing when they say normal or this, like they put the levels and say it's okay, and then you do the research on it and you're like, no, actually that's not okay to have that certain so much whatever it is they find in your water too high. So make sure you do your own investigative work. You can take samples of your water to your local, there's like a local water testing places, and you can take a little sample to them. And I've been told by some of these water places to do a couple different places. Do your kitchen tap water, sink water, do maybe another bathroom. So kind of go to different places in your house, your outside spigot, and see if there's different changes of what's in those water. And that also can check your pipes. So food toxins, we have artificial colorings, artificial flavorings. So anything that's not food, when I talk about, that blue dye, your body is like, it's no nutritional value. There's only reason for it is for aesthetics, to make it look pretty. Your body has to take that in, the liver has to process it and get it out. It just causes energy work, and then it can get just caught up in the liver. So refined foods, you have the meats that contain the antibiotics and the hormones in them. That's something that's translated, even though you might make sure that the bacteria is dead, but the antibiotics and all the chemicals that they've been injected with, or hormones, don't go away when you cook it. So those are things to be thinking about. This is an old chart, and I was at a seminar. This was presented at a seminar. This is from 1997. They did present one, I haven't found it, of a certain herbicide that is sprayed on the crops locally here. And we are like right here in Upper Illinois, and that red area now with the most recent one is like covers, like we're just like the epicenter of these pesticides, which we tend to have, there's a lot more cancers popping up, it seems, in the Midwest. Farmers are, unfortunately, a lot of farmers are coming down with cancers. And so this is something that really you need to look at and make sure you're washing your produce and washing your things, especially even if you're buying locally. Now, we do have some community-supported agriculture and organic farmers in the area, but you can't divide a wall between this land and that land. If the wind blows, you're still going to get maybe some trace things, even though they're doing the best to grow their crops the best they can and not have pesticides and do things more natural. They still can't get away from it, especially like I just talked about, the groundwater and all the other things that we are sharing. So still wash your produce, try to buy organic if you can. Now, there's a website on the here, www.ewg.org, and that's like an environment awareness action group. So they usually have this Dirty Dozen, and this is the last one that was posted, I think, a couple of years ago. So that kind of changes. They update that periodically. What they had on here is the Dirty Dozen is saying that the fruits and vegetables that are worst in your pesticides, herbicides on them. So you want to make sure if you buy these, try to get organic as best you can, or making sure you wash them really well. So, I'm going to just run them down real quick. Apples, celery, strawberries, peaches, spinach, nectarines, grapes, they say sweet bell peppers, but I think all bell peppers, potatoes, blueberries, lettuce, and kale. So if those are the top ones, you make sure to try to, like I said, buy organic, or make sure you try to wash them. I always try to make sure, my husband goes through celery pretty quick, he cooks a lot. I always try to make sure I get that organic celery. And these are just because they want everything to look pretty. They don't want to have any spots on these produce when they get to the grocery store. And it's about aesthetics again, but unfortunately it's causing a negative effect on humanity. So I already talked about, our toxic sources and like cleaning products in our household. So ammonia, bleach, we have all these things. Just try to do natural sources. Use vinegar. You have all kinds of natural cleaning products, which also not only are good for you, but they're good for the environment to use. They're not going to cause any issues with the environment. So I use a couple different brands. I use Shackley for the office here. I use their natural germicide. I use a lot of Melaleuca for my laundry and my stain removers. And so there's a bunch of companies out there. So just open yourself up to the products that are good for you and good for your environment. Now, sometimes you think it's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it if you don't have to worry about all these other things and think about trying to prevent cancer in the future. So, and here, this was a good fast fact on that. Indoor toxic exposure, it takes an average of 26 seconds for chemicals in a typical household products to enter the bloodstream. So it's saying like under a half a minute, whether you're touching it or breathing in the chemicals, it's getting into your bloodstream that fast, which means that's going straight to your liver and straight to everything else in your body. So according to the EPA, studies of human exposure to air pollutants indicate that indoor levels of pollutants may be 2 to 5 times and occasionally more than 100 times higher than outdoor pollution levels. So everybody's always, now they're like worried about your print, your exhaust print and our energy, but people think about outside our houses, but they don't think about inside our houses, how you need to be conscious about what kind of chemicals you have in your house. And especially if, like for us in the wintertime, everybody's locked up tight, they want to be nice energy efficient. Over the years, there's been more and more better windows, better sealants on doors, trying to to keep the heat in, but unfortunately then that doesn't let the house breathe or your environment breathe to get some of these indoor toxins out. And so then we have that's talking about our outside of our body, but inside our body also causes toxins. So yeast, from eating too much sugar, we can produce yeast in our body, and that has some biotoxins that it releases. We have bacteria, fungus. Some people talk about different, like they have toenail fungus and different things. That's saying something's going on inside the body if your body is a good host for mold or fungus. It's not good for that to grow on us. We have the carbon dioxide, ammonia, our hormones create byproducts, leaky gut. If you have a gut that's not really strong because you don't eat a lot of fiber, and make sure it's strong, and maybe did multiple rounds of antibiotic where it decreased your first line defense, that good bacteria, and it causes gaps in our intestinal line, which then causes food that doesn't get broken down on the way go into our bloodstream. So then that causes an issue with the liver because it doesn't recognize it the right way. Stress, you have that spike of adrenaline all the time. The body, once it uses it up, it has to break that down and get rid of it. So there's the other things, thinking about just our mind factors into things as well. So here's signs that symptoms that maybe you really need to do a detox diet. So if you're having trouble with digestion, constipation, bloating, diarrhea, nausea, heartburn, elevated cholesterol, this program is really good of resetting people's cholesterol and getting them down and realizing it is diet related. It's not just your genetic line that you have high cholesterol. Sometimes it is what you do to your body, and most of the time it is what you do to your body. If you're overweight, underweight, if you have rashes or eczema or certain things with your skin, dry skin, that may be something. Your body sometimes purges our toxins through our skin, so it's just one way of getting at it. If you have fatigue or foggy headedness, mood swings, dark circles under your eyes, like sugar hormonal imbalances, PMS, or even infertility. I've had patients come to me before that said when they did the standard process detox program with another doctor, that's when they got pregnant. After they did that, it kind of reset their hormones and helped them with that. So that's good. Asthma, so that's another way we get rid of some of our toxins, is trying to breathe it out, so it irritates our aligning of our lungs. You're frequently sick. You're just sick and tired all the time. You can't figure out why. Joint fatigue, can't have trouble sleeping, and then you're just sensitive to any chemicals. It's just like your toxic burden's too high. Can't be exposed to perfume, can't be exposed to a lot of different things. Then that might be saying you need to do this. Now, I myself don't really have any of those symptoms, but I still know I'm getting exposed all the time. It's 100% exposure. Everybody's being exposed. Everybody's getting toxins. So I do this twice a year. I do, this time I am doing the orthomolecular one. So it was a little bit more intense for the first couple of days, but I felt great. I slept great. I did notice the benefits. Right here, I think this is the one talking about the umbilical blood in this thing. So here we go. CDC reports in 2006, which I know it's over a decade ago, we found the average American has 116 of 148 synthetic compounds in the body. Compounds tested included all the stuff I talked about earlier, all these long name things. Further studies revealed that these same substances were also found in human milk, placenta, umbilical cord blood, and the blood fat of newborns. So not only it was in their blood, but they were finding it in their fat of newborns, which, like we were talking about, that's where toxins like to hang out and stay. So that was like, they're only, 9 months incubation, already have some toxins in their thing just from mom being in our normal environment. So that's not good. So this is, here we go. Average umbilical cord blood contains 217 neurotoxins. 208 of these toxins are known to cause birth defects. So I don't advise for pregnant women to do the detox diet, but definitely you're considering to want to have a baby in the future, I definitely would recommend trying to make sure you get your body nice and clean and reset before you conceive. And then try to then stick to eating as healthy as possible, which is the diet we're going to talk about. So it says, this is evident of how the burden of our detoxification capabilities have become resulting in storage of toxins. So it's just saying we need this. We need to do this. We need to prioritize this. So why detox? We ingest 30 to 50 tons of food in a lifetime. That's a lot of food. Most people that have GI issues also have increased levels of incoming toxins, which we talked about all these things. What else we got? I'm going to just jump to the last part. Least expensive and innovative method that will be used as a first-line approach to great. So this is like the best way to kind of reset your body and your digestive tract. I've had patients who have done this who had like chronic heartburn that did this, and they were like, it's amazing. They never had their heartburn anymore. So there's people who had trouble eliminating that were doing better. There's a lot of people definitely with the digestive tract that it helps with that. Some people do lose weight on it. I'm not a big person of promoting it as a weight loss because I don't like diets in general. I think it's a lifestyle choice. This is a good way to help reshift you and refocus you and change, make a pivot in your lifestyle. It's a good way to help you realize, that these foods, eliminate foods that you don't need, and then help get you on a great starting launch pad. But I don't like to use it as a saying weight loss, but people tend to lose weight because they're taking good care of their body. So, and the body sheds those fat that has the toxins in it. So it's better than a diet, like we were talking about all these impurities or toxins that are in there. What happens with a diet, you rebound, and that's why I was just saying I don't like that because people just go right back. What you want to truly do is try to eliminate and then stick with eating properly, healthy, and resetting, and continuing on as a lifestyle, not necessarily doing the herbs and the scrubbing the liver, but continuing on. Now, what I have too is people realize when they go off this detox, when they start to eat the foods that they liked before or craved before, they realize, that tastes awful. Like they actually taste all the impurities and the gross toxins that are in it, and then that gets them to eliminate that. So me personally, I've had that experience where I've eliminated things from my life because I tasted them the next day after I went off the detox, and they were awful. So I've shared this story before, but I'll share it right now. This is the first time I did the detox like 17 years ago. It's hard for me to admit this, I used to love Tony's Pizza Rolls. I really like them. And so I did the purification diet with the standard process one, which you can watch my other videos if you want to know about that one. It's a good one too. And I did that, and I cleaned up my diet and did this, and it was like, I think I did a week, 10-day one, and I went to go, I'm like, after the diet, I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat these Tony's Pizza Rolls, and I was so excited. And then I ate them, and I was like, they tasted greasy and gross, and I ate them like at nighttime, like for dinner time, and then the next morning I got up and I could still taste like the grease and the grossness of it. So I can never eat them again because it was just so gross. And I've had people say the same thing about like Oreos or different things. Like all of a sudden they could taste all the grossness of the thing they kind of liked, because it kind of just resets your palate that you've been like numbed down to. I like to say it's like our typical diet we've gotten used to. It's kind of like that frog that you have in you take a frog and you try to throw it in a pot of boiling water, it's going to jump out. It's like hot. But if you put it in the pan and slowly turn up the heat, it ends up cooking to death. So we're cooking ourselves to death with all these bad things that we're eating. So the role of the liver itself that we're restoring is it filters our blood. It actually helps convert fat to sugar and sugar to fat, back and forth. So it helps us like regulate some of our energy resources. It does break down our hormones. So if you have excess estrogen or testosterone, it will filter those out and break those down. If it's doing what it's supposed to do, it produces and it excretes bile. So bile is what helps break down our fats. So if that's not working well, we're not going to digest our fats properly. And our fats are part of all our brain, our skin. They're involved in, we need fats, healthy fats for our whole body to work properly. So it's the primary organ that helps filter us out. So there's different phases. They have a phase 1, a phase 2, and a phase 3. It's just the way the liver goes through. So phase 1 is where it kind of tries to, we use herbs to kind of get it going, to scrub, kind of get it activated, to try to say, hey, let's attack these toxins. And then phase 2, it wants to like bind them and get them out. And then you want to just get them out the digestive system. So there's phase 3 is talking about how when you get it out, it takes what's left over and goes back to that. So what gets rid of the toxins recycles in our body. So our body is a recycling system. Now, if it says 95% of our bile salts are reabsorbed. But a lot of times our bile salts are not even being going out in the first place because the liver is too busy up here. So we want to make sure to clear out that whole pathway. So what's nice about the Restore program, or the Core Restore with orthomolecular, is it's shorter. So it says 7 to 14 days, but the book and the kit's only for 7 days. And what's nice is it's short and sweet. You can usually find 7 days, carve out 7 days in your life and make it happen. To do this process. It's very much, they kind of give you, handhold you, tell you everything to do. They have a diet guide in here, which we have the hard copy books and PDF, and the grocery list. It is a guide. I do have other sheets I can give you of just different foods to eat that you can eat. You don't have to follow it strictly. We've already had a couple couples arguing over following the book exactly. It doesn't have to be that. It's just kind of suggestions for that week. So, but the main thing is the low-carb Mediterranean diet, which is the same of all the detox diets, and it's actually the one in research that's tried and true is what the diet we should be eating anyways, which is low grains, lots of vegetables, green leafy vegetables. You can do fruits. You should do two to 1 for fruits and vegetables, twice as much vegetables than fruits, I should say. And then lots of good healthy proteins. So there's that, and healthy oils as well. So this is just, the whole thing provides like the herbs, the protein. They have protein shakes. And through the whole diet, they have a chocolate and a vanilla. And you just do 2 shakes a day. And the first 2 days, all you do is the shakes. And then also a multivitamin. Now they recommend their multivitamin. I don't really care for theirs so much. So whatever, if we have a multivitamin that's really good, it's a whole food multi, or been proven that's good for you, I recommend doing the multivitamin. I usually pair this or suggest to pair this with like the general health packs that we have from Standard Process. But the main thing is just the shakes and the multi. So those first 2 days kind of giving you a little fast, like kind of eliminating food, trying to give it very simple, basic things to help you just give it a little rest on that digestive system so it can be prepared to start the herbs for the 3rd through the 7th day, where then you do the shakes and the herbs. This has got like dandelion. Everybody knows dandelion's like a good detoxifying herb. It's got dandelion, it's got milk thistle, it's got garlic, it's got turmeric, it's got some really good stuff to help that. So one of the multis I also, in place of a multi, I'll suggest is the Core that just supports this on the cellular level to make sure you're getting all the nutrients you need. So if you don't have a multi that you're not doing the general health packs, then I would recommend the Core to do with this diet. So this is the shakes. What's nice about this is one serving is 15 grams of protein. And what's nice is it's like more of a plant-based protein. And you have 5 grams of fiber, which is really great, and it just facilitates all the good stuff. It's good nutrients for the body. So you're not technically starving, you're giving your body nutrients, but you're just not having to have the energy to break down foods, giving a break to the pancreas, giving a break to the liver a little bit. So Core, like I just said, it has all the good detoxifying herbs to help stimulate, like scrub that liver. And then it comes with the patient guide, which it has what you can eat, what you can drink, and it's got like the step-by-step guide and some recipes, and then how to take the capsules. So we just went through that. So usually like after the detox, now not during it, not necessarily, the first 2 days when you're trying to cleanse or go off caffeine. If you drink caffeine, I did have a patient that's doing it right now, so that second night she had a headache. Some of that's stirring up the toxins that you're trying to get rid of. Some of it is, caffeine withdrawal. So she did try to do the week before, where she kind of tried to back down her caffeine the week before. If you've got a better starter point of trying to back it down before you do the purification, that's the best to do. But no caffeine, no alcohol, lots of water. You can do some green tea, some herbal teas. I let people do that. That's fine. But try no sugar. You want to really just give the body a real good break from all those more strenuous foods on the body. So like I said, it does get some weight loss. We're cleaning up the filter. Most people talk about sleeping better, thinking better. I felt great. Like day 3, I was feeling like probably the second or third night, I was feeling pretty great myself. And then I always go, why do I go back to like whatever, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of this? My thing also is French fries. That's my other thing I like, but I let myself have them like once a month, but still, it's like, I don't need that crap. So it's overall benefit for the body. So my information, if you're interested, is, right here, Johnsburg Chiropractic and Wellness Center. I'm right here in Johnsburg. I am a family wellness chiropractor, which I have pediatric certification, and a lot of my continuing education is on nutrition and, physiology of the body. I did write a book several years ago. It's called Journey to Vibrant Health. You can get that on Amazon, or you can go on my website and click, and it'll take you there. YouTube videos. So I've alerted to doing the standard process detox diets and purification diets. I have a ton of videos from the last couple springs and falls that talk about those diets if you're interested in those ones. They're very similar, a little bit longer, a little bit more, just longer, kind of getting you in a better mindset to try to reset. This one's kind of a good little scrub. And my phone number is 815-344-0113, which you can text that number if you're interested in doing this or want more information on that. So nice talking to you. Have a great night.